Welcome back to another episode of Stories of NBL1, and have the incredible honour of having a very incredible player joining us in this week's show, Sara Blicavs, who has returned from the Tokyo Olympics, a highly credentialed player currently playing for the Southside Flyers, a two-time WNBL champion, WNBL Star 5, an absolute superstar on the court. But without further ado, welcome to the show.
Gosh, that is just a lovely intro. I should set that as my little alarm waking up to, right?
If you would like a keynote presentation and you want someone to, I'm more than happy. My subtle tones might not be the best, but I'm more than happy to pump your tires up. I mean, first off, you're an Olympian. I mean, how does it feel after what a incredible few months for yourself has been?
Yeah, I can't say incredible few months. I think getting cut from the WNBA. Pardon?
A whirlwind few months.
A whirlwind, yes, definitely a whirlwind few months. I'm very tired right now, that's for sure. I think emotionally and mentally I'm exhausted from being on such a high to such a low to such a high and now just flat. So yeah, definitely need a holiday after this. But the Olympics, my gosh, I'm just so grateful that I had the opportunity to go, and what an incredible experience it was. Definitely has to be in my top three best experiences I've probably ever had in my life. So it was I just words can't even really describe it. I mean, the people that you associate with over there, the athletes, not just from the Australian team, but all over the world, you just recognize so many people and everyone's just on the same level. I just feel like that in itself was so overwhelming and so exciting. And yeah, it's just really cool to get to represent your country and also, represent your family. I think that's super, super awesome.
Have you had that moment to reflect? I mean, you spoke about the disappointment of being cut from the WNBA, the disappointment of initially not making the Olympic squad, but you ran with it. I mean, you were dominating at the NBL1. I'm sure initially you weren't even thinking, you're a reserve, but previous experience, generally it's not like you even when I remember as a young kid getting cut and you're a reserve, not making the team. Have you reflected? Have you had a moment, and maybe because you're in isolation, you're forced to sort of reflect to go wow, it has been a bit of a roller coaster, or even supercharged roller coaster?
I think it was, yeah, I think you go from being on such a low to then getting told that you're going to the Olympics, and then 2-3 days later you're in Japan. And I think I was just sitting in the village what has just happened? This is so overwhelming. I didn't have the greatest preparation going into the Olympics as well, because as you said, being a reserve, I was like, you know what? I'll do the bare minimum right now, because I just hated basketball at that point. So but yeah, it was, I don't think it's properly sunk in. I mean, the whole Olympic experience definitely has, but I think when I get home, get back to my family and friends, unpack my bag full of unopened gear, because we got so much items of clothing. I think then when I, sit on my couch and chill out and probably have a red wine, I'll be like, what has just happened?
What was that emotion receiving? I mean, how did it all even eventuate? Sandy gives you a call? Yeah,
so I was, obviously everything that went down with Liz happened, and I caught wind of it.
Is that when you thought, okay, here's a chance, that could be a possibility?
Yeah. So when that kind of all came out in the media, we were in lockdown, and I was just walking with a friend and stuff, and I was just talking, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I actually might, have a chance of going here, because the way it's sounding, Liz might not be going anymore, all this stuff. I was like, oof. So that was, I didn't know how to process that. I hadn't been told anything, but thinking about going, I didn't know if I was excited, if I was upset, if I was, I just couldn't work that out at that point. I was just very rattled. And then probably was the next day, Sandy called me and said, we want you to come to the Olympics. She says it's so wrong. She gives me exciting news, but then says to me, but it also might not happen, so just bear with me. So I was like, Okay,
Wow.
so here I am. Yeah, I was just kind of in limbo for about 2 days after that, just waiting because I had to work out if I'd reached a time limit to come or not. And then I was sitting on my couch. It was about 9 p.m. at night, and Sandy basically messaged saying, "See you on the 22nd." And I was like, "Wait, is this like actually locked in?" And she's like, "Oh, we're just working on something." Yet again, has just done it terribly. And then I get a FaceTime from Tessa Levy, and it's all of the girls on the bus on the way to Japan, and they're all like screaming and all excited and congrats. And I was like, oh, well, I guess I've made the team now. So pretty much from that point on, I was super excited. Like I was just so ready to go and so just over the top with happiness. And yeah, basically packed up and got my 2 negative COVID tests and then was on a plane to Japan.
What a remarkable story. And I mean, it seems like you handled it so well. I mean, credit to you.
Yeah, I mean, look, there was a lot of emotions that went on during that time, but I think when it processed that I was actually in the team and I was going, I was just so wrapped and, you know, so excited because I think that overwhelming feeling of, yes, representing your country, but for some reason, just like representing your family was just huge to me. And you know, they were really proud, and I think I was just very emotional and happy with that whole kind of aspect as well.
Was there a moment, you know, did you receive a message from your family, your mum and dad, or even your brothers? I mean, obviously there's a significant pedigree and even people that you brought in, like, yeah, like has there been a message that you just look back on now and you're just like, yeah, that was pretty special?
I mean, my family have always been really proud of me, I think, no matter what I do. But I think for each and every one of them to message me personally and be super excited. Like my oldest brother, Chris, has always been my #1 supporter. He's, yeah, you know Chris as well through 3-on-3 stuff. And he's helped me so much with my basketball career, like not just my physical strength, but I mean, just mentally, like he's just my rock. And he's always been super supportive of me. But I also think like when my other brother, Mark, who rarely shows emotion towards family, was super happy and super proud and like kept calling me. And I think I went from being, oh, that's Mark Blicavs' sister. For the first time ever, he was my brother. And I was like, that's the best. Everyone was calling him, oh, that's Sarah's brother. I was like, this is awesome. So yeah, I think that was just like a big moment for me.
No, absolutely. The experience, Tokyo, I mean, what was it? I mean, you guys had the opportunity to walk the village. I mean, there's obviously a lot. I mean, how was that whole experience? I mean, obviously, we'll talk about the games, but just that village experience.
Yeah, the village was super cool. For me, the way that AOC did the Australian building, I mean, there's so much footage everywhere of it now. So I think people have a pretty good idea of it. That was elite. Like they just wanted everyone to kind of be around each other, and they did that very well. And I think because of COVID protocols and like just to be a little bit more safe, they wanted everyone to kind of hang out at the Australian building rather than walk the village. So they set up this kind of like outdoor lounge area with 2 massive TVs that, you know, every athlete could watch all the sports that all the Australians were in, and super supportive of one another. And, you know, just to be in amongst of like all of those people who are your equals, I think that's huge. And then, you know, casually walking to dining hall and there's Luca, you know, he was getting swarmed though, he really was. But I mean, I think that's just so cool that, you know, he can casually walk to and from dining hall and, you know, he's a part of it all. And just those bigger names. Like for me, I was so excited to see the surfers. I think it's so cool that surfing was in the Olympics this year. And I didn't manage to get a photo with the Aussies. I really wanted to, but they ended up leaving because they were like 90 minutes away, I think it was. So they had to stay somewhere else. But I think that's so elite seeing them, just like, to me, some of the coolest humans out there.
Was that like that pinch me, like you said it, and I saw obviously old mate Kayla George with the very handsome Lewis Scholar, and like, is it those moments that you're like, yeah, I mean, you idolize them, it's the Olympics, you get consumed by it all, you're like a fan, but you're like, I don't want to be too much of a fan, but I mean, it's the Olympics.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, our girls were obsessed with Louis Scola. Like I don't even. It's so bad. I don't watch basketball, so I actually didn't know who he was until they told me about him.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, I know this now, but yeah, I was, like I said, I think the most starstruck I was just to kind of, know that the surfers, or like the like I got a photo with Logan for the BMXer that won gold and stuff. I think that stuff's really cool. I mean, like, yeah, foreigners, how exciting, but like you see people take photos with them all the time, so I wasn't that intrigued by it. But I think what's cool is that everyone was on the same level and there was no real big heads, but Rudy Gobert, who I found out like he was a real big head, strutting his stuff in the village is just sickening. But
yeah.
I
Not a
heard he's a
fan,
bit of
fan
a
of
flog.
Hey, I didn't say you did. Um, and we talk about Will. I mean, what a crazy tournament. I mean, we're riding that last game. I remember, like even we become these, or everyone becomes the world's biggest critic, but biggest fan as well in those moments. But, lose to Belgium, lose to China. Was there a moment where you're like, this could be ending? And then obviously the Puerto Rico, where like the majority of Australians, I imagine, like that first half, were like, what are they doing? In terms of, just that range. I mean, how was that to then, even that last shot, like for a moment, I remember I stopped on the side of the freeway to watch the end of the game to see that, and my heart, like I was like, this just seems like this is the way the Opals would be. That shot would have gone in and it would have ended like it seemed like that was what it was. What was that like, that whole journey in itself?
Yeah, it was kind of hard. I mean, I feel like we didn't perform to our best. We definitely looked underdone in that tournament, and you could kind of see that we weren't as gelled as all the other teams, and that's no excuse. I think that's something that we can just learn for when it comes to Worlds next year. I don't, for me personally, like I was so relaxed. I just couldn't ever see us not making the finals. I mean, even at halftime of that Puerto Rico game, when we were supposed to win by 25 and we were equal to them at halftime, for some reason, I just felt like our energy was so good and we were never going to let it happen. We made it bloody hard for ourselves, though. That's a fact. But I think losing that game against China, like right with that terrible, terrible ref call,
Absolutely.
that was a big punch to the face. I think that's kind of when, like, I guess not shock, but that was the point where it was like, oh, this is crazy. Like, we have to pull our heads in now. We've lost 2 games. To make finals, we have to do this. We have to perform. And like for me, you're not even thinking about medal anymore. It's just about, we have to make finals. We have to do it, like, our country proud. Like, I feel like it would be low key embarrassing if we didn't make the finals. So I'm just wrapped we got there. Like I said, made it difficult for ourselves though with US, but like playing them in the quarters. But like I said, it's all learning experiences, and I think we'll take this away and work on it for Worlds in Sydney next year.
Yeah, great segue. I mean, what does that mean to you to have the opportunity to, hopefully the World's at a point where we've got our family and friends watching us? I mean, is there pride in itself that you're like, this is going to not only be great for sport in general and in terms of basketball, but for women's sport, putting on the map even more so than what you guys have already done, to have that, host the World Cup in Sydney next year?
Yeah, that's huge. And like you said, I think for us to have the chance for our family, fingers crossed with all this COVID stuff, but if our family can all be there, the Aussie fans are so great. And I think they also help get us over the line. They're like having a 6th man out on court, and just to be able to play on home soil. Like, when do you ever play massive tournaments on home soil? It just doesn't happen. So this is so elite for us. And, we definitely want to have a better result. And I think the Opals have always had such a great legacy in amongst, I feel like, Australian culture. Like, when it comes to Olympics, everyone knows the Opals and the bodysuit, and people tune in. And, we've been doing so well with our basketball. I think it's like, this result wasn't as great and we really need to come back, and prove ourselves at Worlds. And I think we're all really ready and excited, to do that.
Absolutely. That resilience that you've had to show, and that whole experience going up against USA, and it's always irrespective of how the Opals are doing. Like, what was the feeling like that? You always want to go against the best. They're going to always be competing. I mean, how was that for yourself?
Yeah, that was awesome. Like, I love playing against them. They are so big. It's just crazy how big of humans they are. And they're elite. Like, they're the best of the best. There's WNBA MVPs in that team. There's championship winners in that team. There's Diana and Sue, who've now won 5 gold medals, as you do. So yeah, to see them and play against them, I mean, you just want to beat them though. I hate USA. I absolutely hate them. And it's just like such a passion of mine to eventually beat them. I think that would just be so great. And, like I said, we just need to kind of get our stuff together and, hopefully get over the line next year.
The storylines were around the bodysuits at times. I mean, your personal feel, like that pride, you spoke about that, the legacy piece, similar to a baggy green. Do you get to keep him? I mean, how was it wearing him? I mean, did you wear him since even AIS days, or have you ever even worn him?
No, that was my first time. So I was a part of the first under 17s Australian team. And that was the year that we decided to get rid of the bodysuit. So I never got a chance to wear them. I absolutely loved it. I love the bodysuits. I think you're just so agile, aerodynamic in them, they look great. Like, I love it. They struggled. We had to get them made properly, and we were struggling a little bit. So we had a few trial bodysuits, which ended up working out all right, because now I have about 5 of them, but I got all the girls to sign each one. So now I've got like little gifts for people and all that stuff. But yeah, when they were our last few games, they were made perfectly, and I absolutely loved it. I think it's cool as well that it's just an Opals thing, so it's not the juniors that get to wear them. So in a way, it's like you're striving to get the chance to wear the bodysuit, like you said, like the baggy green cap. So I think that's cool, and it's just got so much history to it, doesn't it? I mean, the teams back then were in the bodysuits. They won medals. They're an elite team. So it's pretty exciting to wear. It's an honor. It honestly is.
No, and I love it, because it's even like people wouldn't, query it, and it's like we're not in that environment. And when you're in a team, you don't understand the culture till you're involved and embraced, and you see that with the Boomers as well, like they do their little things, and it was the Opals taking the mantle. I thought, Katie Ebstrey articulated really well, like in that regard. With that, were you had the opportunity to go down and watch the Boomers for bronze medal game? I mean, like, were you able to get down there?
So we only went once. The stadium was an hour away, so we were allowed to go watch them, but I mean, we were training most of the time. So we had the opportunity. We watched them play against USA when they unfortunately lost. But that was cool. I mean, we got to watch USA play as well. So that was pretty elite, watching some of their players too. But then their bronze medal game was when we were waiting at Singapore airport. So we all watched it at the airport. Yeah. Which is, it was kind of crappy though. Like, I wish we were there, because I guess we'd been supporting each other throughout the whole tournament. So it would have been nice to, be there when they won bronze. But I'm so wrapped, like, I'm sure as you are too, you know a lot of them, like, you'd be so proud of them for getting like to where they are now. And I mean, Patty Mills, man, like, he's just so elite. I'm so happy for him. Like, what a tournament he had, and what a great human he is as well. So yeah. Did you
go through AIS with him?
No, he's a fair bit older than me. I think he's like 4 or 5 years older than me.
Okay, yeah. You'd be right. Like, an exceptional human being. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, even as the flag bearer, and then obviously that you couldn't help be captivated by that bronze and think, geez, like, yeah, we want to replicate or go better. Is that feeling that you had sitting at the airport? Did you even speak about that? It's like that could be our moment?
Yeah, we didn't really speak about it, but I definitely felt that. Like, I was so envious. I was so happy for them, but oh my gosh, I would have loved to have won a medal. I mean, rose gold, so pretty as well, so. But you know what? Like, I think that just gives us that fire that we want to win, and we want to win a medal, and we can do it. Like, we really can. That's the thing. We just need to, like I said, get our stuff together and work it out. And I think just constantly just play lots of games together, just play, and train together. And I think we'll be all right.
Perfect. So what now? I mean, we can see clearly in a hotel room, you're in the beautiful, Gold Coast region. Just unfortunately not be able to enjoy the spoils of Sin City. But I mean, what's next for the next few months? You're obviously going to enjoy some time, hopefully get back home family, planning for the WNBL season.
Yeah, I think depending on how lockdowns are, I'm going to probably stay in Queensland and maybe go even further north just for a little bit of a holiday. If not, I'll go home and I'll try and have a break, and try my best to kind of like zone out for just a week or so. I think I need it. It's not so much a physical break. It's more just mental. I think after my last 3 months, I think I just definitely need time to step away from the basketball court. But WNBL, Southside Flyers, hoping to go back to back, and we'll just, we'll see how we go with that. And I'm super excited to get back into all of that. But yeah, also NBL1, I just don't know. I can't comment on that right now because yet again, we're in lockdown and they've paused the competition.
How was that getting back? And I mean, and I need to commend you. Obviously, you were very honest in terms of your feelings of that, and just demonstrated vulnerability, which should be very proud of. I mean, how was it to get back to NBL1, play for Geelong? It's grassroots basketball. There's no. I mean, we would place pressure on ourselves, but realistically, basketball wasn't on your mind at that moment. You were just playing and maybe playing angry and playing really well. I mean, what did that mean to you to just play for NBL1 for a little bit?
I mean, I love Geelong. I've been with them for about 8 years. And I mean, my sister-in-law, Steph is in the team. One of my best friends, Amy's in the team. So I think coming back, it was probably good for me. And I actually think it's made me a better player because when you say playing angry, that's literally how I played. I was just so mad all the time. And I was just getting so pissed off with everything all the time. And it just made me such a better player. And I think that's something that I've always needed to have in my game. And I think just from that aspect, I'm just going to kind of like build on that and, take it into WNBL with me and see how we go there. But yeah, I mean, NBL1's fun. I really like NBL1. I think it's a pretty decent league. I think, we've got a lot of good WNBL players that play in that league, and, the competition's a lot better than what it used to be as well. So, it was good. I was enjoying it too. We were going on a bit of a winning streak and all this stuff. And then I was like, oh, sorry, guys, see you later.
Is that exactly right? You're going to try and, I guess, replicate what you were experiencing there and, to the WNBL? I mean, what does this next season? Obviously spoke about back-to-back championships, and you've got, a pretty stacked squad that will, obviously be up there. I mean, what is that mindset going to be leading up?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to play with aggression. I think that's something that I lacked. And then when I went over to try out for WNBA, it's definitely something that I learned. They're very physical over there, and you have to have a little bit of firepower and you have to have a bit of aggression about you to, I guess, compete with these athletes. And I think I realized coming into NBL1 that we don't really play like that in Australia. We're not soft, but I mean, we're not as chaotic or crazy as the Americans. The only thing that comes with that is that I will most likely get fouled out most games now. So I just need to watch myself there. But I think, getting rebounds is something I've really started to enjoy doing. And, that's probably my focus in WNBL is, just get all the easy baskets that you can and focus on things that you can control and just play hard, like just just be a scrappy player.
No, absolutely love it. We didn't really talk about WNBA. That's obviously still a goal of yours.
I'm not sure. Honestly, I'm not sure. I know most people would be like, oh yeah, it is. But right now, I think just because I haven't really had time to process everything, I don't really know where I want to go next year. So I think the fact that I got to make the Olympics, it made me enjoy the Opals again and made me make Worlds next year. So that's a bonus. WNBA though, like it's hard. It's definitely different mentally than what you're probably used to, and I don't know, there'll just have to be something I work out. Like you just got to take it day by day. I mean, I just want to have a great WNBL season, win a championship hopefully, and then just assess anything after that.
No, awesome, mate. I obviously could talk to you all day, and especially I'm sure you want to talk all day being locked down. But I do want to again comment how immensely proud you should be of yourself. I know even in this time and you're reflecting, but I love when obviously you're featured on the other NBL sort of shows and articles talking about being angry and being hurt, and so often we disregard that. But for you to still play, many people would have not. I don't know how I would have been. I would have put myself 4 hours away from Perth and had a few red wines, but I commend you, and that just shows how incredible of a person you are. But then obviously to back it up and go to the Olympics, it's pretty special. So well done in that regard again.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I really do.
No, awesome. Well, for everyone else tuning in, really appreciate your time again, Sarah. For everyone else, please tune in for our next episode. And do you want to give a shout out to your Instagram handle? I know all the Instagrams are doing that now, right? What is it?
I'm not like that, am I? Sara Blicavs together. Just right there. Just my name, okay? Sarah.
Love it. Love it. But everyone else, please listen to this podcast through Apple, Spotify, or watch it on YouTube. And please follow NBL1 on our socials. Otherwise, everyone take care and thank you again.